Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 2022. This is going to be the first video, hopefully, of 2022. That's kind of dependent upon how today goes, and there's a very good chance that it could go poorly. It's already started relatively poorly. I found out that the spot I was intending to go today wasn't even open on account of New Year's Day and things closed, so had to go with plan B, which is not the best, but I mean, it's better than nothing. At least I'm able to get out today. There's a lot of cold weather coming in behind this warm weather today. And because of that really nasty wall of cold air coming in behind this warm air that we have here today, there's a super high risk of tornadoes again. So there's a very good possibility that our day is going to end up getting cut short by severe weather, or at the very least, rain. So yeah, 2022 is already off to a kind of rocky start, even if it is nice and warm. There's a very good possibility that today is going to end up being a bit of a flop because of the weather that's coming in behind this nice weather we currently have. And as you can see, it's already getting gloomy. It's a peeper. But yeah, it's already getting nice and gloomy. And it's probably going to end up raining on us here within the next hour or so, if I had to guess. But I'm going to try to get out here and get ahead of these storms and at least turn something up to start off the new year. There's our first herp of 2022 peeking out. What's up, dude? Nice green and old to start off the day. It's a good sign. Stuff's poking out already. Well, there's our first snake of 2022 in situ. Just a black racer chilling completely out in the open right here. That is awesome. Let me get a picture real quick. You know, it might just be a racer, but I am genuinely happy about that because after I found out the spot I was intending to go today was closed, I kind of gave up on seeing a snake today. I wasn't really expecting it to happen. And then sure enough, right there in North Georgia to boot. I think this is probably the first time I've ever found a snake in North Georgia on New Year's Day. I can't think of another time. That's crazy. But very nice black racer, just chilling. Looks to be a pretty healthy one, maybe a little bit on the skinny side, but other than that, that's a pretty picturesque snake. Seems to be pretty healthy. Always see lots of racers at this spot. They're one of the more common snakes in this area, I guess. So not too much of a surprise that's what we found, but like I said, I'm not terribly disappointed with that. I'll take it. He is pretty content to just chill there, so I don't think we're gonna mess with him. But yeah, first snake of the year. Nice black racer. Let's go see what else we can get into before this rain hits. So first snake of the year right there, and I've got some 10 right here that I have not flipped in a long time. So let's see if there's anybody hanging out over here. I don't think I've found a snake in this yet, but I mean, today's as good a day as any, I think. It's a little wet. Nobody. It's looking good, though. I think I'm going to get stuff in this year. I didn't find anything here last year, but I think this stuff was just a little too freshly laid to produce. All right, here's a piece of tin. Nobody? Sure seems like nobody. Just flipped a little green and all, our next one of the day. We saw one out a minute ago, but yeah, it seems to be a decent amount of reptile activity today. As long as this rain holds off, I think we have a good chance of seeing more stuff. All right, next piece. Nobody. I can't believe there's no ringnecks or brown snakes under this tin. Like, we're finding big snakes, but we're not finding the little common snakes that you'd expect to see. Well, my tin has been really disappointing at this spot so far. There's a bunch of old buildings out here, and I managed to put out a ton of cover in this area. Never seems to have much under it. I've seen a couple of racers, and that's been about it under my flips in this area. But then again, I have had them let out for less than a year, and generally that seems to be around the time stuff starts producing. So hopefully later in the spring, this spot will be a little better. But still got a little bit more to hit, so I'm gonna do that before I actually give up, I guess. So it's not weird to me to get skunked under 10 in the winter, but it is weird to find a king snake 2 days ago and then not even be able to scrounge up a brown snake or a ringneck under 10 today. It just doesn't make much sense, because you know those smaller snakes have to be up if the big snakes like king snakes and rat snakes and racers are up, and we've been seeing those. So it's just kind of strange. Makes me think. I don't understand exactly why there don't appear to be any tiny snakes under cover right now. Yet we found a king snake a couple days ago. Oh, a fence lizard. That's kind of neat. Wasn't expecting to see him out today. These are probably one of our more common lizards, but I always enjoy seeing them. Hello. Because they have a pretty laid back disposition once you get them in your hands. And this one didn't put up much of a chase either. But these guys are fairly active during the winter. We see them, they're normally only out on the really warm days like today, you know, days above 70. But they do seem to be pretty active at any time of year as long as the sun comes out. But yeah, nice to add this to the species list for the day and for the year. Nice female eastern fence lizard. I'm gonna put her back right here where she was basking. Oh, you already know the daffodils are coming up on January 1st. Look at that. That is the first sign of spring other than calling chorus frogs here in Georgia, as these little invasive flowers popping up everywhere. But I guess they're pretty benign. They're really pretty, and I love seeing them first thing in the spring every year. It's one of the things that gets me excited about the new season, because I know once these guys start popping up, the days are getting longer, and it'll only be a matter of time before spring is here. All right, guys, well, since the snakes don't seem to be having it, I'm going to temporarily switch gears and spend some time down in this creek and see if I can turn up a spring salamander. I just flipped this rock right here, and underneath it was a pickerel frog, which got away, and a nice big seal salamander. Normally, this is a pretty tough creek to find salamanders in, but the fact that there were two things under that first rock hopefully means all this rain has stuff very active and we'll be able to find some stuff in this creek. So I'm just gonna let this guy go and get back to it. Here's a much smaller and less attractive pickerel frog. This guy is pretty much a metamorph. Almost can't even tell if that's a pickerel or a leopard. I'm almost positive it's a pickerel. I'm gonna grab it and check. Yep, that was a pickerel frog. I got a decent look at him right before he jumped into the water, never to be seen again. That's what those things do. They escape. I have a hard time getting my hands on them and keeping my hands on them long enough to get video and photos. And just like clockwork, it started drizzling. It's not ideal, but as long as it doesn't turn into a full-fledged thunderstorm, I'm gonna try to stay out here and at least try to kick up a spring salamander before we call it a day. This creek is awesome. I haven't been able to find a spring in it yet, but I mean, it looks like pretty textbook habitat, and I found them in this area, in this general area at least. So under these two rocks, there's a spotted dusky right there, spotted dusky right here, and right in here is another little pickerel frog. That's 3 pickerel frogs so far today, maybe even 4. I saw one more jump in the water that I'm pretty sure was a pickerel, but I didn't get a good look at him. So you can... Oh! There's a new species for the day. This is a young 3-line salamander. Kind of surprised we haven't seen more Eurycia. There's normally 2 lines everywhere in here too. Not a species we see too often, even though they are really common in some areas. They're just very localized, so. Oh, and there he went. All right, guys, I managed to get my hands on one of the frogs that I keep seeing jumping in the water. This one is not a pickerel frog, but rather a green frog. These guys are way more ubiquitous than pickerel frogs. We see them in pretty much any kind of body water. I'm kind of surprised it took us this long to see one today. So I'm just gonna put him back. There's my first turtle of the year. Looks like a painted turtle. I can't really tell from back here. I'll get out my camera and see if I can get a better picture. So upon closer inspection on my camera, that is a non-native red-eared slider. That's our first turtle of the year. Kind of a bummer, but I mean, they've been around, they're around to stay, and they're only a subspecies away from being native. Because we do have the yellow-bellied sliders here, but that one is definitely a red ear. Look at these weird boulders. It's interesting. Oh, wow. That's a nice deadfall right here. See where these trees just toppled over in a storm. And that is a perfect spot for snakes to hibernate, but I'm not seeing anyone. Looks like this tree fell pretty recently too, so they might not have found it yet. Well guys, the rain kind of moved through and the sun came out, so I decided to stay out a little bit longer, which really hasn't been a very productive decision so far. Haven't seen anything since I was in the creek earlier. But I'm walking this sunny edge, just hoping to catch something out sunny. It feels perfect for there to be something out, but I still have not seen a snake since that racer, which was pretty much first thing this morning. But I'm gonna work this a little bit longer and see if I can scrounge up another snake or two. And if not, it's not the end of the world. It just feels too good out here for it to be a one snake day. All right guys, I just found something pretty cool under that rock. These are old snake eggs, and the interesting part about these is they aren't granular, which means they're not black racer. And the vast majority of the time that I find snake eggs, they're black racer eggs. So, especially big snake eggs. You'll find ringneck eggs every once in a while, worm snake eggs. But these are almost certainly either king snake, rat snake, or hognose. And these are some big eggs too, so I would not be at all surprised if these are king snake. And I would actually probably put money on that if I had to guess. That or hognose. Because I mean, these are big eggs. I guess they could be rat snake too, but it'd be weird for a rat snake to lay eggs under a rock like that, rather than in a dead rotting tree or something. But really interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on this rock next year and see if whoever laid these comes back and lays eggs in the same spot next season. All right guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day there. This wind is picking up and this cold air is starting to blow in from this front. It's hard to complain about 70 degrees and snakes on the first day of 2022. So I'm gonna consider today a success, even though we didn't get to do what we really wanted. And it's definitely better than sitting inside being cold like we do many New Year's days. All in all, not a bad day to be outside. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next episode.